Last week we had the Champions Classic, and we got to see Cooper Flagg finally play his first competitive game against Kentucky. He had a pretty good game, but he made some costly turnovers in those final 2 minutes. But overall, his stat line was 26 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. How are we feeling about his overall performance from that game?
I walked away pretty impressed. I know people were a little disappointed with how it ended for him, 2 straight turnovers down the stretch, but I feel like they kind of put him in a difficult position. I feel like that's not necessarily his game at this moment. I feel like he can grow into that, and he will over time, but I would have liked to see them go to someone like Con Kneppel or just somebody who's like more adapt to like get their own bucket at the end of a game where like all the pressure's on you. Because like I think Cooper throughout the game he showed a really good job of getting past this man on like a one-on-one situation, shooting over people, getting buckets in transition. But when you slow the game down and it's multiple players looking at you, like on that last play, he had to not only get past his man, he had another man right at the nail, and there was like someone help side down low too. So it's like even if he would have got through there, it would have been a tough bucket to get. So I feel like he played really, really well, but I think he kind of did show some of the things that scouts are a little concerned about. But overall, I would grade it as like a B+ performance, B performance.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see him be aggressive for one of the first times in college. Some of the early matchups, it seemed like he was a little bit passive. He was getting all his teammates involved. But I like to see a guy like Cooper Flagg get 19 shots in a game, especially in such a crucial game against Kentucky where, like, if you want to be the number 1 pick, you got to go out against Kentucky and ball out. So nice to see a little double-double from him. I'm going to be interested as they play more of these tight games during the conference play, hopefully during March Madness as well, if we see some different decision-making coaching-wise or even among Cooper Flagg on the court. Are they going to switch up the sets, like you said? Are they going to go to a guy like Con Kneppel, or is Cooper specifically on the court going to make different decisions once he gets more experience in these positions? Because that's going to show a lot of coachableness and probably add even more reason for him to be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I think up to that point, Cooper Flagg was having an amazing game. And I think he's also shown that he can be a great decision maker too at times. But I feel like I do kind of agree with you guys. I think the play that they ran, I don't think it necessarily put him in a spot to succeed. But I think you kind of want him to be in those positions early because with a guy like Flagg, I mean, one thing I think that was nice about the game is we were kind of curious, like, how's he going to look when he's the go-to guy? And I think, you know, because they have so many other talented freshmen, and I think they kind of took a little more priority towards Flagg. And that was nice to see, and he was excelling in that role. But I feel like I'm interested to see him in more late-game situations and not necessarily being an ISO player, but just kind of being the hub, if that makes sense, like making plays for other guys. Because I think, especially in the college game, he has the talent and the skill set to just draw so much attention that alone could shift the defense. But I'm interested to see how obviously he had the bad turnovers he dribbled off his foot and then he went into the corner and just, I don't even know what happened there.
I'm wondering if like the court was slippery there or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe his shoes were filled with sweat or something on the outside and he kind of just shuffled his feet wrong and lost his balance, because that's not something you normally see him do.
Yeah, I think they were just pretty bad. I personally feel like it's not something that we'll see again. I think it was kind of a little bit of jitters, but I do agree that maybe running an ISO wasn't the best thing, and you got to do something not everybody's just, okay, let's watch and just let them cook. Because I think you're maximizing everybody on the floor when you can kind of get some motion and kind of distract the defense a little bit, whereas it's easier to just load up to Flagg when everybody's kind of watching him. But I'll be interested to see how that kind of progresses throughout the season.
Yeah, I would have definitely liked to see him in like a pick and roll action, either as the ball handler or the screener, because he can do both. I think just overall though, it's like it was a really interesting game just because all the different looks he got from Kentucky. Like I think we kind of got to see that you can't really put bigs on him. He's a little too fast for that. However, he might struggle a little bit with like shorter physical guards. Like I know they had Owe on him a couple plays, and it seemed like he just struggled a little bit with his handle when like having to go through physicality with somebody who was like lower than him. So it was definitely an interesting game from him. I'm excited to see more. I know they played Wofford after that, and they blew the doors off them. But it's been a good start to the year for him so far. I definitely have him rising up my board from where I had him preseason.
So you got him number 1 now?
No, I don't have him one now.
It's crazy to hear the phrase "rising up my board" with Cooper Flagg, because he's almost one of the most consensus number 1 picks in the last few years, other than obviously Wemby.
I know there's a few guys out there though who are not with the consensus.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of people who surprisingly have a lot of, I guess, parity compared to everybody else.
Yeah, like I had him at 3 to like initially, like way at the start. And I think he's probably like solidly 2 at this point in time, but I still want to see a little bit more.
Thanks for watching League Bound. If you enjoyed this clip, subscribe to our channel to never miss our takes. Check out our full show right here on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.